not the best example. I am not Katniss Everdeen. Y'all are not Katniss Everdeen. There are no demon dogs. There are no crazy hornets killing us. Using that story, I understand the implication, but it is highly unreasonable to use it as a real life example. That is not how things work here. We are in real life, but this is reality. That is not some type of novel about a dystopian life. Additionally, I feel like they are failing to know or to mention how important it is for some victims. They stated that rehabilitation is important, and people use the prison system, they go through it, they come out, they're good. They've gone through the processes, rehabilitation helped them. But in the Donald Dobik case in 1990, U.S. Today reported a fugitive named Donald Dobik who had escaped prison 11 years into his life sentence from previously murdering Lee County Deputy Dwight Lynn Hall. So I asked, what do we do with those people who escaped? When he escaped in 1979, he approached a woman named Faye Van's car with a paring knife and demanded a ride. After refusing and fighting against Dobik, Faye was stabbed 20 times and her throat was slit, killing her. At this execution, the Van children stated, 11,932 days ago, Donald Dobik brutally killed our mother. We were robbed of years of memories with her, and it has been very painful ever since. However, the execution had given us some closure. These victims want to see justice served. They want to go through with it. They want to take the time, the energy, remembering everything that happened to ensure that they are getting the justice that's given to them. Some people can be rehabilitated. There are absolute habitual criminals that make to commit the most heinous and disturbing crimes. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't want them out. I don't want to see them on the streets. I don't think they deserve rehabilitation. I don't think they deserve a second chance. They've done the absolute worst to people. I don't think when people commit rape or murder, they should be able to get that choice again, to be free. And I think that's 5 minutes, I don't know.
Yeah.
It is? Okay.
Seconds to go. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, very good.
All right, so we're going to have now 3 minutes for the drug test file, okay? Are you ready? Will I take some seconds?
We might use the rest of our time out, a minute 15.
Okay, sure. You can use it.
How much time is that? No. Oh, okay. Yeah.
This one, please.
Yeah, I got it.
When are you ready?
You ready? Both team ready? Audience, ready? Yes. All right, timer starts now.
All right. Do you guys have any evidence on actual cases of victims and their testimonies? Because I looked up on Death Penalty Information Center, and it says Many people in their circumstance believe that another killing would not bring closure and that the death penalty is a disservice to victims.
So I use that same source when talking about the cases, and they have listed cases in which there are victims who do want the death penalty. And you scroll further down, they talk about the stories of certain victims who do want it. Yeah, like such as the Owen case and the Wesley Berkeley case, both victims have stated that they wanted the death penalty in order to find justice. As far as for y'all, do you guys have any examples in which the U.S. Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you it better. Have there been instances in which you can say rehabilitation would be beneficial for U.S. citizens? I feel like that question was asked, but it was not really answered.
Well, I think it's shown in other countries like Germany, the Netherlands, that it can be effective, but
It's effective in those countries.
so why not try it here? We haven't put in that effort. We just keep in
Do
the
you
same
say that
system.
their governing system's the same as ours?
It's definitely better.
As far as
I
their
mean,
criminal,
literally,
as far
it
as their
correlates to
criminal,
lower
as far as their
incarceration
criminal
rates, too.
system, it's working better than ours. So that leaves, I have a question for the second speaker. Did you mention in your speech that we use false conviction as one of our contentions? Or brought evidence of it?
No.
Oh, okay. Then that leads to my next question. You mentioned the types of murders, like common murders, habitual murders, and gang murders, in which you said that life without parole could work for common murders, but not for habitual or gang murders. I just wanted to ask, what is the difference between isn't murder outright, and if one punishment can be used for one, can it be used for all?
It's different, it's to a different extent of what's like heinous crimes versus like, not so much heinous.
So
That was it.
yeah, if you're asking this question, I have to ask, like, for all the Ted Bundys of the world, the John Wayne Gacy's, do you think that they deserve rehabilitation as well?
I do think it's worth the attempt, yes.
Even though they've admittedly murdered multiple times to the most vulnerable of people, you think that they deserve rehabilitation?
Yes.
So I was gonna ask, y'all brought up, y'all said the nature of the death penalty is discriminatory.
Yes.
Is the death penalty itself an individual? How can a form of punishment be biased? The death penalty itself, I'm confused about that.
Well, it started whenever slavery was normal, and so it was a tactic in the South to discriminate. Time.
All right, thank you guys.
Cool.
That's fire. So, we have 10 minutes remaining. My clock is ready. Tell me when you're ready. Yeah, the first speaker.
Opponents ready?
Yes.
Judge ready? Audience? In conclusion, on the affirmative side, we believe that the death penalty should be abolished for many reasons. Based on the foreign policy in other nations, such as Germany and the Netherlands, where they are focused on rehabilitation and resocialization of crime doers rather than resulting in a punishment of death. It is shown that the United States, too, can work without having to incapacitate or rely on the retribution of others to get justice. As the affirmative team, we believe that the lives should not be taken in response to punishment, no matter the level of crime. Due to our weighing mechanism being the ethical principle of deontology, according to the National Library of Medicine, it is an ethical approach centered on rules and professional duties. And its purpose is to judge actions based on what most people consider to be morally correct. The death penalty is racially biased and expensive, and overall the lives of others shouldn't be in the hands of the government. Based on the way other countries that do not have the death penalty as their capital punishment have lower incarceration rates, this shows that it is safe to say that we should follow in their footsteps and abolish the death penalty. The government should not be relying on a faulty system to punish crimes, and they definitely should not have the power to end a life. What gives anyone the authority to decide who gets to live and who has to die? As the affirmative, we believe that justice should not be taken in the form of revenge, and that we should seek alternatives to fix the immoral actions caused by the death penalty.
Thank you.
All right, you all ready? All right, it's ready. All good to go? All right. We, the negative, have provided the historical background of the death penalty to understand its roots and the role it played for the stability and security of nations past. We've also mentioned the retributive justice for victims, because we value the rights of the victims as well. The affirmative mentions discrimination when it comes to the death penalty. However, the death penalty is not an individual. The death penalty is simply a form of punishment. Yes, in the past, during slavery, there have been those who have exploited the system, but that, I wouldn't say that's a fault of the system itself, rather the individuals behind it and society as a whole. Let's see. In terms of expenses, we believe that it's worth every penny to make sure that those convicted of the most heinous of crimes, such as rape and murder, are thoroughly investigated, and to make sure that they are guilty. When it comes to rehabilitation, if let's say a criminal is let back onto the streets, and they have gone through the process of rehabilitation, is it fair to take a chance? Is it fair to take a chance in that they wouldn't commit those same crimes again, similar to what they've done previously? Without the death penalty acts as a deterrent, needed to prevent habitual criminals from causing more harm. If they do cause harm again, even if after the release, the blood will not only be on the criminal's hands, but on the justice system. Let's run through a scenario. Right now as I speak, if there is a criminal plotting their next attack, maybe even committing it right now, if we could stop them with the option of arresting them right at this moment and giving them the death penalty, would you do it? If the answer is no, then you are no better, no stronger, no more morally just, no more morally sound than the criminal themselves. Abolishing the death penalty, ignoring its history, and not dealing the equal absolute value of retributive justice, and valuing the inmate's rights over the victim's rights will objectively lead to one more innocent life being taken away. If a virus exists, and in this sense, habitual criminals be the virus, those ones that commit the most heinous of crimes, you do what you can to eradicate that virus as quickly as possible. Treating it may or may not lessen the effect, but unless you truly kill the virus, get rid of it, it will continue to take lives. No care in the world, no second thought, because at the end of the day, prevention will always be better than the cure. Go back to our contentions. The history of the death penalty has its place, starting back then. Retributive justice is what we need to ensure that the lives taken from those victims, there's an equal punishment given to them. And finally, victims' rights. The rights of the criminals should not have more value, should not hold more value than the victims. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys, thank you very much for your presentations.